Generally, there are 167 sections and one schedule in the Indian Evidence Act 1872. All the original sections are retained, but the schedule was repealed by the Repealing Act 1938. Several amendments were made, including the latest amendment, namely by the Information Technology Act of 2000 and the Indian Evidence Amendment Act 2002. Some of the original sections have been amended, and some of the sections have been newly inserted in the Act from time to time, depending upon the political, economical, and judicial changes. The newly inserted sections are as follows. Section 22A, when oral admission as to content of electronic record are relevant. Section 47A, opinion as to digital signature when relevant. Section 65A, special provision as to evidence relating to electronic records. Section 65B, admissibility of electronic records. Section 73A, proof as to verification of digital signature. Section 81A, presumption as to gazette in electronic forms. Section 85A, presumption as to electronic agreement. Section 85B, presumption as to electronic record and electronic signature. Section 85C, presumption as to electronic signature certificate. Section 88A, presumption as to electronic messages. Section 90A, presumption as to electronic records 5-year-old. Section 111A, presumption as to certain offences. Section 113A, presumption as to abatement of suicide by a married woman. Section 113B, presumption as to dowry death. Section 114A, presumption as to absence of consent in certain prosecution for rape. Generally, there are three parts and 11 chapters in the Indian Evidence Act 1872. The part 1 is the relevancy of the fact. The part 2 is of proof, and the part 3 of production and effect of evidence. The part 1 is the relevancy of the fact. Cover 2 chapters. Part 2 covers the chapter 3 to chapter 6. Part 3 covers chapter 7 to chapter 11 and the schedule, which is repealed by the Repealing Act 1938.